Okay, I was listening to Dr. I can't, what's his name again? Is it Yaki Awakens? Yaki Awakens?
I don't know who you're talking about.
Okay, so I was listening to a doctor. You know, we've been talking about fasting and how it's healthy and stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
And he used the example of how he was talking about some of the strongest and biggest animals on the planet concerning muscles. And he was like, look at the gorilla, one of the strongest um, animals, you know, it's a herbivore. I believe that's the term for it. And he was saying, you know, like the rhinoceros, or is it rhinoceros? Is it a herbivore too? Or the elephants. He was saying the elephant. I don't think they actually say rhinoceros or he or they. But this was like during this clip was from Holla from uh, Wildin' Out.
Mm.
So it just caught me. Just it was just a clip. I didn't watch the whole show or anything, but it was a clip, and he was, you know, they was talking. It was short, you know, and like I said, he was talking about this, and now it made me question. I'm like, wait a minute, is you comparing us to animals that eat all day, don't they? So I had to look it up, and I'm like, how much do the gorilla eat? And they said the gorilla. They said this is what came back. It said I asked, do gorillas intentionally fast? And in fact, they spend roughly half their day, up to 14 hours, foraging and eating, consuming up to 40 pounds of vegetation to meet their nutritional needs due to their low calorie diet. They eat almost constantly with only short resting periods between foraging sessions. That's a lot of eating through the day. So I was like, so if you trying to build muscle, then you must snack a lot. Not the wrong snacks, but the right
Right.
snacks if you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to build muscle, which makes sense because the other doctor who was saying, that, oh, we should fast, we should fast, he didn't have any muscle.
Mm.
He was muscleless. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like he
Right.
had, like you can kind of see the flaps a little bit
Mm-hmm.
there. You know, like this was an older doctor. Anything you got to say? What are your thoughts on that?
Mm, I don't really agree with comparing us to animals, anyways. Because we're different species. I mean, I just don't get it when people do it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I, I, okay. Oh,
I
sorry.
know we are a type of animal, and but like comparing us to an animal that like walks on all fours or something, like that's gonna be two very different types. And so we don't know how similarly our systems work, if they have all the same organs that we
Mm-hmm.
have. So I just that kind of oranges the apples to me a little bit. Like if they were like, oh, this the gorilla is similar to a human, and oh, they have all the same organs. You know, they walk upright, not on their knuckles too. You know, they walk upright like us. That would make a little bit more sense than just firing off of, like vegetarian animals or vegan animals.
I don't know, but I really like the oranges to apples. I had to look up. I had to think about that for a second. Like oranges to apples, they both fruits, right? So you
Yeah.
said we're both living things. So like we're both categories of living things, and we both, you know, like you said, we're animalistic in
Mm-hmm.
some natures as well. Um, of course, different groups seem to be more animalistic than other groups
Right.
by far from characteristics, genotypes, and just things like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that in that way, I say we should definitely look at animals because he did have a good point what he was saying how nature built certain animals to be you know to have defense you know from how you know adaptability. He was basically talking about how it was a natural adaptation for you know the animals to you know do what they do, like the ripping of flesh and
Mm-hmm.
how they would just rip the flesh and swallow the food, not chew it.
Right.
And he even was talking about like the vultures. There were some vultures that would just take the chunks and swallow it. They don't chew it. Whereas we're supposed to chew it. But I guess some of the foods he was mentioning we couldn't break down to the um, uh, molecular, is it?
Molecular.
Molecular level that we needed it to be.
Yeah.
To consume it and
right.
get nutrients or whatever we needed from it.
And I can see that with meat, especially because another like thing that a lot of nutritionists cite is that we don't, have the sharp canines that you typically see in meat eating animals. So that's just more evidence and credence that we're not supposed to give credence to the fact that we're not really supposed to be eating meat like that. And I think that's one of the foods too that he was probably talking about greatly is meat and dairy too. That's just a weird thing that some of us eat dairy, but yeah, that's why so many populations are lactose intolerant. I don't, yeah, like our bodies aren't made to break the dairy down, some kind of enzyme that's in the dairy.
So I got two things. One is the adaptability still is a thing. Like even though we somewhere uh, Mother Nature, so to speak, right, made us so vulnerable as babies, as a seemed like a trade off for us having a higher intelligence, right?
Right.
Developing, being able to develop a higher intelligence. So along those lines, if we can adapt so much as a person or people, right? Then couldn't our systems also adapt to be
To
lactose intolerant?
yeah, and
Couldn't that
I
be?
believe that so certain populations have, and like us. I mean, if we eat some ice cream, it won't kill us, but we'll probably have some bubble guts or something. So I think we have adapted in that sense.
So scientifically, we can agree that we may be adapting to some of the foods that we in the beginning maybe we shouldn't have ate, but now that being that we ate it so much, we might be adapting, or at least our body knows how to pass it, right? Get rid of it. That's what I'm thinking. Is is kind of where we at with that. At the same time, the question remains: what is the best diet or meal plan, if you will, for a person that wants to be the healthiest they can be? And why is it so hard? Because everybody different.
Right.
Okay, that's two questions.
A book that I really like, but I am like the question that you asked, like so when studies are conducted, it's hard to like in get these certain groups of people like everybody in like when they cite a study like oh broccoli is going to help you reduce whatever by 20%, like burn fat like at a higher rate or something, just an example. Like when they cite studies like that, it's hard to take that for yourself because you don't know who was involved in that study. It's like a statistic that I found. It's like women react like 3 times more to medicine because a lot of the times the control groups consist of men. So that's a fault that I'm acknowledging before I recommend this book. But How Not to Die was a book pretty much breaking down what you were saying, like what's the healthiest human diet, what is found to be the healthiest in these studies that we don't know who it consists of though. That's the only thing. But they pretty much found across the spectrum that a lot of plants, a lot of different varieties of plants, seeds, things like that were the best for humans. And the people who had the lowest rates of cancers, ailments, and stuff like that were pretty much people who ate the lowest, like the lowest meat consistently.
Can you repeat the last part? What about the cancer?
The people who had the lowest cancer and ailments consistently were the people who didn't eat meat.
Now, see, that is very important. Very important. And this study was done by, you remember?
No, no. So I'm just citing the whole book, but the book did have like a section at the end where all of the footnotes were included. So that would be interesting to do some deeper research in to see who exactly did that study. And it wasn't just one, too, by the way. It was like a bunch.
Okay. Do you remember which book you said that was?
It was How Not to Die
How
by,
Not to Die. I
yes.
remember How Not to Die. I can't remember it that well. This was a while ago. I wonder, did I finish that one? How Not to Die. I tell you this. I've been seeing more over the years. I've seen basically no sugar, no cancer.
Mm, right,
That's basically what I've been seeing. Like it was every time they talked about cancer, they talking about sugar and how the cancer would grow or you know attack the sugar or whatever. Something to do with sugar, right? And
right,
there was all these different types of sugars, like and it's weird because they got sugar in America products. They put sugar in stuff that just shouldn't even have sugar in it.
right,
Like
and
they'll put sugar in
everything.
salt. Like
Right,
they go but bananas with that. Like they go beyond bananas with it. They go like to a like it's almost intentional.
yeah, it's strategic. The more sugar or the more sugar they can sneak in, the more like addictive it is to the brain. You know, sugar is like a type of substance for us, for an individual who's addicted. Like even cutting out sugar, like a person's gonna go through withdrawals. I have went through sugar withdrawals before. It's,
Really.
yeah, it's crazy.
I may
It's
have two
crazy.
and just not notice it as much. I might be going through one right now, you know,
Yeah.
because I think I'm hungry, but I know I'm not really hungry. I just did this yesterday, this 18-6, and it was I didn't even think about eating because I just ate so late last night, the
Right.
night prior to this. Now today it's a little harder. It's like I keep thinking, man, I think I want a snack. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
it's but I'm feeling my belly right, or my stomach
Right.
right. I'm feeling this. I'm like, I am not starving for no that to eat. I got plenty reserve here, you know.
Right.
So I know, you know, my logical part of my brain is telling me, no, dude, you got plenty. You not about. You don't need any food. So I'm going to
Right.
stick to the logical part, but it's just that that urge is there, right?
Hmm.
It was another book that I listened to. It was, if I can remember the name, I can't. It might have been the How Not to Die book. No, I don't think it was. But anyway, this book was talking about how the the I forget what they called it in the stomach, the whatever the little like little I'm gonna call them little creatures that make you want to eat
I believe
certain
those are your
things.
like stomach enzymes. I enzymes is what I
Maybe
think. Oh, microbiome. The
but that
microbiome.
sound like it too, right? Microbiome sounds exactly like it. Um, but let me backtrack for a little bit. So we talked about when we was talking about these studies, because I like to be really clear about this because a lot of people seem to want to they just want to pretend like this don't exist, right?
Hmm.
When they do these bias studies, right?
Right.
They do these studies as first they want to be racist, and then they want to pretend, oh, like we're not racist. Like you can't pretend you're not racist while living in a racist system. It doesn't make sense. It's not logical. You know, it's just not. You know, so they'll do these groups, and these groups, like you said, will be overwhelmingly men. Why would you do that? that doesn't make sense. If anything, you do it by percentage of the population and percentage of the groups in that area. That's a
Mm-hmm.
control study is supposed to make sense. That's why it's really like they blurring the lines of science,
Right.
right? It's not even science. It's not even. I don't think we can call it science when you didn't study the thing, right? You didn't
Right.
study it fully. It's science that, by definition, is the study of things.
Right.
So if you only do a partial study, that's not that's a partial science. That's partial science,
Right.
right? It's not, you know, it's just not scientific because it's not finished.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I just wanted to clarify that because when you said that, I thought about the men and which group, right? So even though they do a majority of men, which groups of men are they
Right.
studying? And that also took me back to that same book that talked the Dorito Effect. Actually, was the
Mm.
book. I like the Dorito Effect better than How Not to Die. Um, I guess because of the relations he was making with the whole natural chicken, even though that wasn't my focus to eat the chicken, because
Right.
I'm like asking myself, going, why are you eating the chicken in the first place, right?
Right.
Let's go there. Let's go. Why do you have to eat the chicken?
Mm-hmm.
But even though I still enjoyed at that time a chicken, right? A bird. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying, I'm just saying, but why start there? It's kind of like when they do history and they want to just start at slavery or something. Like, what? Why are you starting here? Like, it was way more history. When you talk of history, you got to go back. Why start there? As if that was a beginning. It was not a beginning. It was a beginning of enslavement, maybe, or chattel enslavement, maybe. But talk about it as so. You get what I mean? Not
Mm-hmm.
not as if that was all that existed. It was a time that a lot from what I got, a lot of the people that were enslaved were actually doctors and professionals in their area, in their group. These were the important people. Some of these people that was enslaved and then mixed with other people that couldn't speak their language, and introduced to this brutal lifestyle that they just barely survived, if they did survive, long enough to just, maybe even die thinking that they was cursed because of something they did, or paying for something from a past lifetime, whatever. Not to bring it back. I said that about the Dorito effect because they also talked about the microbiome and how it would. I believe this. If I'm not getting my books mixed up, they believe how it 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 urged us to want more and eat more, and this is one of the reasons why the scientists, I don't even know if we can call them scientists, maybe they should have a different name. They was technologists or something that would make these unhealthy flavonoids that would, you know um, basically entrap people, right?
Right.
Like, not give them the full, like, hey, if you eat this, you will become addicted. Kind of like a drug label they
Mm-hmm.
should have had on this stuff, right? They
Yeah.
they knew exactly what it was going to do to them, but they didn't put it out in that way. They sold it as, hey, this is a good snack. This is a delicious snack. But it wasn't just a delicious snack. It was a flavor enhanced addicting snack,
Right.
right? They didn't put it out like that, but I believe they should have. I was just, you know.
Mm-hmm. And so what you were trying to articulate, the expanding on it, in the book they were saying the natural flavors, the artificial flavors, the corn syrups, all of that like enhanced products, pretty much what they did was suppress your hormone that I like the exact name is escaping me right now, but it suppresses the hormone that says, okay, I'm full, I'm done. So that's where the addicting and then the fattening aspect comes in, because your body like biologically doesn't know when it's done, when it's eating these artificial things. And what he was saying initially is that we are all born a nutritionist. Like we know without the outside influence of these natural flavorings, these enhanced flavorings, and these artificial ingredients. Like if we were just to have a rich diet in what we're supposed to eat, we could be like healthy on our own. They tested this experiment with little children, I believe. I don't know if they were toddlers, but they were children, and they pretty much was like when they were lacking something, they chose the foods in which they were lacking without any outside influence. They were allowed to eat whatever they wanted. So
This makes
yeah.
sense when we talk about our natural biome too.
Mhm.
So, like I said, to me, there's like we got little creatures that's harbor that we harbor around that kind of like we had a tapeworm or whatever. We start introducing this food, this parasite likes, and it's already living inside of us, and it somehow is getting us to eat more of that stuff instead of what our natural biome would have like, kind of like that ant that gets that little that alien that gets into that ant and
Oh,
makes it
right.
go and commit suicide so it can reproduce all over again. Same
Mhm.
thing. I think we get the same thing that goes on once we get infected by whatever these things is. So to go back, I'm simplifying because I don't know all the technical terms. As you said, you can help me articulate this. I don't know all the technical terms, so I call them aliens, right? I call them little
Right.
aliens, um, little the microbiome. They want certain things. They know that keep us healthy, that give
Mhm.
us longevity. Because the longer we live, the longer they live, right?
Right.
And maybe it's some that just want to get passed on to the next person, right?
Mhm.
Or in that miraculous thing we call giving life, where we um what is it called? Procreate or
Procreate. Yeah.
procreate? Okay, so as we procreate, we pass on. It's I say miraculous because wow, all the, all that happened that fast. We passing on
Mhm.
all this and that fast, and it starts all over again. It's wow.
Mhm.
I mean, but if you think about something so tiny, so microscopic, like that's all that fast. But we go through years of munching and crunching and snacking and all of this, and it's and it went that small. That So I'm just saying. So imagine how much you're fighting once you get that belly that's hanging over, that
Right.
muffin top, as some people call it, right? They call it once it get to hanging, it's like up under your belt.
Mhm.
So you gotta fight that. You gotta be really strong willed or have a good support system to get back if you want to get back. We went through this phase where America just let go. Most
Yeah.
of America just let go, and most of the people who wanted to be like Americans definitely let go.
Right.
And it was beers to pig ears. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It was like everything in between. And a lot of people not thinking like the kids, like the children. I don't want to eat that. Why would I eat that?
Right.
Like
And as a
that doesn't even look appetizing. Why would I want like to them? It makes no sense.
right.
You got nuts and berries and here all this just makes sense to them. And they wasn't taught, oh, you can eat this, this is fine. They wasn't sold. You eat this, this is what you want to eat because of whatever reason. But without the marketing strategies, man's marketing strategies, basically what you that study you're talking about made perfect sense.
Right. And as a parent in this day and age, I think the best thing to do with a child is just not introduce them. Like, they're not
Yeah,
gonna know what they're missing if you never introduce them.
I
And
agree.
I don't know, I just can't see not doing that with the information that we have.
It's so hard because as a parent, I'm talking from a parent perspective, and you don't know what you don't know, right? You don't know if what you're doing is wrong because society,
Mm.
is peer pressure, right? The propaganda, the machine, is so strong. Like they had that food pyramid.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like they debunking it now, but for how long it was supposedly be right, right? They almost convinced the world that enslaving other people was right. I mean, this is some powerful, powerful stuff here. So, I mean, to your credit, you exactly right, but I'm saying the reality of it is a lot more trickier. It's a lot more of a minefield than just being that simple. I wish it
Right.
was that simple. Don't get me wrong. I love that you call them natural nutritionists too.
Mhm.
That's great, and that's you're right. We should do it. We should do. Every parent should just say no. Like, nah, you ain't this. Why would you no? Like, even if you ask, no, you know.
Mhm.
And then, but as a parent, you want your child to be able to explore and you know do some things that might not be optimal to their health at the same time.
Yeah,
It's
but I feel like you can have that, but you at least have the peace of mind of knowing you've set that child on the right path. So, like, whatever they once they get older, whatever they do now is on
so
them.
so here's a big problem that parents will have, right? And I know this from personal experience. I keep them from certain stuff, and then they get exposed. They go like to school or
Mm.
to if it ain't school, it's a camp or a social club meeting, or they just go and get with other people. Now you got the peer pressure, right? Even if they wasn't thinking about trying anything, now they try something, and they like, and the people make it seem like it's so good and wonderful.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? So they got that experience they don't even realize along with trying it. Right? That's the missing part that a child would never figure out until way later.
Right.
It wasn't the candy, or it wasn't the the food.
Mhm.
It was the experience that I got eating it. Every time I ate it, it reminded me of that experience, that wow that I didn't have on a regular basis. But I
Mhm.
remember feeling so good because it was exciting. It was new. It was like, wow, you know, I want that again. It's kind of like they said. This might be a horrible example, but I lived through the crack era, so
Mhm.
they used to say that crack was made them chase that first hit they had because it was so phenomenal that they kept looking for that first phenomenal, which didn't make logical sense to me if you knew you wasn't gonna find it because you only got it because it was the first. You get what I mean? It was
Mhm.
that type of deal. It was kind of like, yeah, that seems like that would make people realize that there's no reason to do it, but it didn't. It was addictive,
Right.
right? So maybe your candy bar would never be as sweet as the first candy bar you ever had, or maybe the cake would never be as good as the first cake you ever had. But because it's addictive, and if you have less control, or if you're not a strong-willed person, you just keep on trying to get that same high that you got from the first one. Did that make any sense?
Mhm. Messed up, but yeah.
So what do we do? We get back to what do we do? So incorporating the high calorie foods like dried fruits, oil based dressings. This is one that got me. And smoothies helps maintain energy levels.
Yeah, smoothies.
I have to, I don't know, I think you remember. I think smoothies is a total scam. Total scam. I think smoothies should be treated as they are a once in a while delicacy or dessert, if you will. Very rich dessert, if you will. That's just me. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying people wrong for doing it if that's what helped them get to where they need to go. I'm not saying that. I'm saying for me, it's a scam. It's way more of a scam than anything else. It's no different from a. I mean, it's different from a shake. Don't get me wrong, but in a way, it's not. It's like you said, apples and oranges type deal. Like a shake still depending on your health situation, still gives you some type of nutritional value.
Right.
Like, and of course, the smoothie, depending on your situation, gives you more. But you get
Right.
what I mean when I say the apples and oranges thing, because it's like depending on your situation, though. You see what I'm saying? Because it could be a situation where it's just not ain't doing nothing for you anyway. Why are you
Mm-hmm.
even drinking it? Or you just it's just too much. You just gonna poop it out or whatever.
Okay. I can kind of understand where you're coming from. I could mostly understand where you're coming from. I feel like for some people it's like an alternative, like, oh, I'll drink a smoothie instead of eating cookies or drinking a soda pop or something. Like
Go
how
go.
and I think it's a lot better because it's actually nutritionally dense with what you're supposed to be eating if you don't add sugar. Like if it's just a sugar-free thing.
I
Why do
was
you think it's a scam though?
I would say this.
Okay.
I'm glad you asked because I was just about to answer that without you asking. I would say this because as well as you just said that, and this is the perfect timing because we're talking about um um fasting at the same time. No better time to have this conversation, right? Because that's my point. You said instead of having cookies or what have you, you have this smoothie where you
Mm-hmm.
breaking down all of these fruits that you could eat, and not only eat, as you're eating them, it's taking way more time out your schedule to eat cookies and all this the junk food. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you're getting the stuff you might miss from chewing, right? Whatever that is, the extra saliva, the whatever that is, naturally, whatever nature intended on that happening as you chew, that's happening, and you're missing that from a smoothie because you're compacting all of it down. You're blending it all together, and you're doing the unnatural thing that nature did not intend. So we back to the meat. We back to the process. We back to the what was we talking? The Dorito effect, right? We back to this now. Now your body trying to figure out how do I even deal with this? This ain't what we grew up doing. This ain't what this one what. I mean, some children probably popping out now doing it, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
just what I mean. Like
Mm-hmm.
like for millions, maybe billions of years, people haven't been doing that. So our systems I have to adjust to this rush of all of this coming down. Yeah, some good stuff in there, but whoa, we not used to getting it like this. Like if you was, I'm talking, you go back to our ancestors foraging in the, they're not gonna, they didn't make smoothies. They didn't blend their foods up into these tiny pieces. They chewed it. They grind it down with their teeth, right? So while they doing that, they might be walking, right? They might be walking. Maybe they were sitting for a few minutes, looking around. I don't know what they,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. It's a different experience. That's what you're missing when you blending all that stuff up together. And don't even let me get started with the protein shakes,
Oh
which they
yeah.
usually put in these smoothies, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, that's why I say it's scam. That's why I say get to the scam part all the time.
You know what else I think is a scam?
What's that?
Protein maxing, like putting protein in everything. I just seen a video on this. Like
I'm with you.
they were pretty much like in people in like the average person's pursuit for protein, they're ultimately making themselves more unhealthy. Because
That
a
makes
lot of the
sense.
time in like when you go to the store, you see all these protein stuff. It's usually accompanied by a whole lot of sugar and just unnatural ways that we usually get proteins, like these pea protein isolates. Like we don't know what that is really. It's some process. Like I don't know how like one gets a pea protein isolate. Like I don't know how that works. But
The chemist,
yeah, it's like
that's
how.
the word I was looking for earlier when I said the technologists. When I was trying to get the what did I say? I don't know if we should call them scientists. It's the chemists.
Mm,
The chemistry majors or professionals, right? They
right.
figure out how to take this little molecule out of the pea or whatever, and they figure out how to grow this plant or something, and just only get this part. It's yeah, it's a whole. That's why I say it's a whole scale because just eat your peas. If you really want the proteins that peas got, eat your peas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And eat a lot of them. You know, that's why as much as I respect the fasting, I also respect the snacking of these natural nuts, the natural things that nature gave us, because it just seemed like it makes so much sense. Like, okay, if you're still hungry, then just make sure you eat what Mother Nature gave you. Don't go get a sandwich. Don't go get some bread that somebody then pounded and put butter in or lard in or all this other stuff in and baked it and all this. Don't get that. Get what goes back to our earliest ancestors, so to speak, right? That we can think of, and eat your nut, eat your berry, but don't blend it all together because you just think of how much. And I watched a smoothie, and I watched them make these smoothies. I I know I made one before. I don't know if I ever made two, but I made one. Maybe I have way back, but I can't remember if however long it's been. And I just wouldn't. I can't bring myself to do it now because it makes no sense. I thought about it for too long. And I'm like, how does it make sense? It doesn't make sense though. Why don't I just eat it? And how can I not get the same or better nutrients and everything that come along with it by me eating more naturally, right? And it's kind of like another point I go off is if you look at how they um, micro engineered the fruit. What do they call that?
Genetically modified.
Genetically modified the fruit. Some good, most good, maybe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe most good because maybe we don't know
Right.
yet because now we're dealing with the chemicals and
Uh,
when they if they when the whole time if they just wasn't being greedy, they could have did it the right way without chemicals,
right.
right? They could. That's all they had to do. It just stop being so greedy.
And I think like the biggest problem is this like corporation globalization type thing. Like I think if America or us as a group just stay to like local things, because if we did that, this company wouldn't have no need to produce 30,000 apples a week. So they wouldn't have to genetically modify it if we can just walk down the street to our local apple orchard and get the fruits that we needed. That's just my theory
That
though.
I agree. That's you. We basically just said the same thing. If it wasn't for the greed,
Right.
it's because the only reason that doesn't exist is because of the greed. There was
Mm-hmm.
a time that it was apple trees. It was apple trees just there. It was pear trees. It was if it could be grown, it was. It wasn't. They didn't. That even the farms, all the farms, where they came with all these excuses for people not to be growing their own food. It's greed. It's greed. It's control and greed. You know, how they gonna control us and make us do what they want us to do? We talking about the sick people that think they need this type of control because of whatever reason they got in their head about it. And it's sad that we got to have these kind of conversations, really. And, and at this point, it's sad for us as a people. As for people, you know, yeah. So I know a lot of people really stuck on these shakes, and I just, like I said,
Mm.
I just can't rock with it. I just don't want to do it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I ain't saying nothing wrong with a little shot here and there. I'm not saying, but
Right.
I think they just took it all out of context. I believe,
Mm-hmm.
like, if you was gonna do something like that, it should be the size of a shot cup. And that'd be like your little boost. Because I mean, just think about how much concentrated fruit is in there that you
Right.
normally. That's like, and just think, 1 cup. That's got to be like a whole day's worth of fruit that you would normally eat, or nuts, or seeds that you would normally eat. Just one little cup. And you got people going around here with big old jugs, just you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, yeah, this is gonna be my first meal.
Right.
Like, yo, you don't even need no other meals if you
Mm-hmm.
just ate that. All that just went into that. You know, you could have had this at this hour, or this at this hour. Or you could have ate part of it in 2 hours later. You could have been having these smaller meals all through the day and satisfying everything you needed to satisfy. I'm just saying. So yeah,
I agree. But if we can go back to what you were talking about, how like sugar exasperates the cancer, I that makes a lot of sense. And there was another book that I read. It was about sugar. I just can't remember what it was called at the moment. Oh, it was like Shake the Sugar Habit or Shake the Sugar Addiction
I think I
or
know what you're talking about
Ditch the
too.
Sugar Habit. It was something like that. But pretty much the little things that they were saying in the book, and when I was like really paying attention to my body, it was like, whoa, dang. Like, cause for example, like after you eat some sugar or whatever, you walk up the stairs. Like for me, like listening to my body, my heart was like beating way faster than what it would just regularly be beating walking up the stairs. So like a lot of us are not so much allergic to sugar. I think that's just how our body is like naturally adapt to like having that artificial sugar. And she was pretty much just saying in the book like that we're allergic to a lot of things. Like even for me, peanuts, I do notice that my body does react to peanuts. And like,
Really,
yeah,
I'm so glad you're doing body checks and listening to your body. I think that's very important. Like, very important. I don't have to
yeah,
be a certified doctor on paper for these people to to tell you this. In all my
mm-hmm,
years, I found out that to be one of the best telltale signs before you go to any doctor, anything. If you listen to your body, if you feel it, if you really feel it, I mean, listen and hear what your body is saying. Telling you, like, you like you said, you feel it. You know.
mm-hmm,
It's phenomenal. I'm just
yeah,
it's so it's like, wow. It's kind of like that workout. You sometimes you dread it, or you like, oh, this gonna be hard, or some people, I should say, more than others. But every time, I never done a workout and did wasn't glad I did the workout. Not
right,
one time have I worked out and said I shouldn't have did that. I feel worse.
right,
Not one time. Even when I would sprain a muscle or something, it still felt the workout itself felt good. and I couldn't wait till hardly wait till the muscle healed to do some type. Now I know I feel better by doing something.
Right.
And for anybody that's listening and have trouble starting to work out, I would guarantee you need to start with one of it's something you want to do, no matter
Mm-hmm.
what it is. I don't care if it's flapping your arms, stretching, touching your toes, or trying to, or doing one push up, doing one pull up, doing one curl. Just start with one and one squat, one. Just start one.
Start with one, and then also don't kind of fall for this propaganda that I fell for before, which is like, to me in my mind, before, like, I would say before this year, kind of, I learned a lot this year, in that you don't have to do a super intense workout to like actually make a difference in your body, to either burn a lot of calories or to build muscle. Like how we just learned that walking is a really effective exercise, and we should, I would say it's better, and this is where I got tripped up. It's better to walk for like a solid hour than to do like a 15-minute sprint on a treadmill, for
Mm,
example, or like a 30-minute sprint on a treadmill. And that's where was tripped up in the past. Like I thought the sprint was going to be better and like more effective, but it's also, and and another thing is like looking up to athletes as if they're like the pinnacle of health, with which a lot of times they're not. Like even though they look physically healthy, they're really like, maxing out their body, and they're probably going to have knee issues in like 10 years whenever they retire. Like they
mm.
retire young and usually have a lot of body issues. So,
That's a great point. Great point. That
right.
I mean, we made some great points. Um, I do gotta ask you, when you
Hmm.
say to me in my mind, like who else in mind would you
Oh,
be in? Right?
right. I heard somebody say, I don't know why. That's just, things people say,
In
things you
my mind.
unconsciously pick up, like phrases like not gonna lie. Like, I almost can't stand when I catch myself saying that. It's like, you
No, but
know,
those are great points though, because and I think the what happened was they was taken out of context. That
mm,
15 minutes of workout. These I think that was for the people that wouldn't do that they had to start like that. They they
mm,
they wasn't gonna do anything unless they was convinced that if they did something, it would start. Uh, I mean, it would be better than doing nothing.
right,
So I think that's where them quick workouts start coming in. So they got the huffing and huffing it. And now it should be an easy transition for them to go ahead and get a 30-minute walk or an hour walk
hmm,
if they need, like you were saying. I mean, a lot of, I mean, especially now, a lot of professionals or want to be professionals, they don't feel they have the time. You know what I
right,
mean? But you better make the time because as the late Steve Jobs teaches us, without health, you have nothing. Period. Nothing. Your
right,
legacy, that's what you want? Okay. He taught you how to do it. Basically, he laid out a blueprint. If you want legacy, you want to sign your death ticket, the certificate a lot earlier than you need to. There you go.
right.
But other than that, like I said, great points. Very great points. Yeah, I guess we can sum it up with listen to your body, work out. Doesn't have to be as strenuous as you maybe some people think. Um, when it comes to your nutrition, just be logical about it. You know, it's like drugs. Just say no, because that's what a lot of people pushing on drugs. They put in the Dorito effect. Um, read the book, listen to the book, or listen to the advice from people who've like us who've read the book, right? That we telling you these snacks are bioengineered biologically engineered, right?
Hmm.
Um, to enhance your flavor, or they enhance the flavonoids. They basically, at the bottom line, they're addictive,
Right.
and they feed to an addiction that most likely is not healthy for you, right?
Hmm.
More than less is not healthy for you, right? And you go into this going, I don't care. You say that now, but think about it. You could care. You can still have Doritos. If I want Doritos right now, I can have Doritos if I want them, right? But I don't, because I know I can have something else that is just as satisfying. I can have the next best thing. How about a tortilla chip that doesn't have the extra um, flavonoids on it, right? Or how about me not even know any tortilla chips? How about I just grab a handful of almonds, or toasted almonds, or some pecans, and maybe mix that with something that I might find appetizer. Maybe some cranberries or some raisins. But that's another thing I wanted to check and see, was raisins actually listed as a carcinogen.
A carcinogen.
Yeah, or like some type of poison on the FDA. Like
Oh,
years ago, I don't know if they changed it now, because they seem like they're trying to kill us, but more than
right.
ever right now. But yeah, we'll have to go to the records before, before the 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 floodgates was open for anybody to make money off of anything, as long as it kills people or
Yeah.
pushes to a better death of people. It seems like.
And then my last point I have is don't overcomplicate the health, or else you'll end up like one of these. Um, the architect, the archetype I gave the name was a Facebook mom who, like, she's a health conscious person,
Mm-hmm.
but she goes overboard. She listens to any Yahoo on Facebook talking about detox, buy this water that tastes like dirty penny water. It's gonna detox, get all the parasites out. Um, don't overcomplicate it. Lemon water will be an enough detox for you.
I like that. I
And
like that. So let's say Facebook parents,
Facebook
because
parents, yeah, sorry.
but I like that. And basically that's how we started, because I was listening to a guy. I don't know, I don't know. This guy might be certified or whatever. I mean, this is my thing, right? So this is my thing for a long time. Especially when I was younger, I started lifting weights, and I never got like, I never like lifted crazy. Like I never did squats, right? For
Mm-hmm.
example, right? Oh, that's the best way to, I'm like, yo, you can calm down with all that. I ain't here for all that.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to look like I think a woman wants me to look. That's it. I
Yeah.
don't need to. I'm not trying to be Hulk Hogan, or or who else was huge. Even Michael J. White. I'm not trying to be none of them type of people. I don't have that, ambition to do so. I have other responsibilities. I don't have 8 hours of my day to train. Just, I
Mm-hmm.
messed that up a long time ago.
But
So I have obligations, and so I just, if I was a single person and they came at me with that, maybe I would have got into all of that. But this was past that.
tight.
So I just wanted to say that I think that was a great thing. And that's what I'm saying. I was listening to this guy, and I was like, whoa, he was sounding very, like, I mean, he sounded very educated, very wise on what he was talking about, but
Mm-hmm.
he was going so deep. That's what made me listen harder. And I'm like, wait a
Right.
minute, wait a minute, hold on. Who is this guy? Then I look, I don't see him. Like, okay, so I don't, like I said, if your physique is not where I want to be, or where I feel that it's in my even my realm. Like for example, I'm about 6'1", right? I'm not gonna take advice from a 5'4" standing high person.
Right.
It doesn't make sense to me. Like you would never know what it's like for me, or I'm not gonna take advice from a 7'4" person.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, you would never know what it's like for me. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
we're different. I ain't saying you don't know what you're talking about for yourself. I'm talking about you would never know what it's like for me. It's a little different, you know. Your whatever feeds your, whatever it's obvious. It's obviously we have different DNA going on, so we're different. We're gonna have a different structure.
Right.
Whatever you're doing might be great for you, outstandingly great. But whatever you're doing, I have to adjust to fit my personal, you know,
Mm-hmm.
my physique, and I believe everybody should be like that. Everybody should be looking for that person that at least had the physique that they had. Like if this person never had your physique, how would this person, you know, I'm not saying they can't give you advice, and maybe I should have said it different. Maybe because when I say I wouldn't take advice from, I should say I wouldn't, wholehearted advice. I should say,
Right.
I can't take, everything, without a grain of salt, as they say. I have to adjust that. I have to say, well, that's, I got to do this, or I have to start like this, or I have to, curve my diet like this. Because first of all, let's get down to the nuts and bolts of it, right? We talking
Mm-hmm.
about I should say the nuts and berries. You might like this type of berries or whatever. You might like the vanilla from the skunk butt or whatever the beaver butt or something like that come from. I'm not into vanilla like that. I don't have a problem never eating it again in my life. Whereas they'll be like, well, I don't care if it comes from beaver's butt, I'm gonna eat it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like another person love hot dogs. I don't want nothing to do with a hot dog ever again in my life. Like I don't care what kind of hot dog it is. I don't even want to hear hot dog again in my life. That's how non hot dog I am, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even with ice cream. I believe I was what it is called trained to like ice cream,
Mm-hmm.
right? It wasn't anybody that they like force it down me, but
Conditioned might be
I
a
was
better word. Yeah.
conditioned. They whatever marketing I seen or when I tasted it, I'm like, ooh, this is a good, cool treat. But see, they didn't give me the berries at the time. You didn't see
Mm-hmm.
the frozen berry truck coming around. You've
Right.
heard the ice cream truck coming around, which is something maybe we can change. Because I would have rather, like you said to the children, they pick the berries. Why would I pick this ice cream when I know like 5, 10 minutes later I got this film in my mouth and I gotta drink water and I gotta
Mm-hmm.
eat some hot stuff to get this taste out of my mouth. And this is a constant thing, but this speaks to the psychology of us and how powerful that marketing is. Even that happened all my life. I would have this active film and you know, but I would ignore it as a kid. Yeah, we all getting ice cream. We know it's gonna be a good time. But I don't know what everybody else going through afterwards, but I know
Right.
what I had to go through. You know what I'm saying? That was just part of it. That ain't even talking about all the symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I say even now I look at it and even now I go past this ice cream and once in a while I'm like, man, I should get some ice cream. It's so stupid. I know better, right? I know I don't want this ice cream, but it's the lack of the berries that would not be right by the ice cream. When I see all this ice cream, it's so much. It's like it's got to be something to this stuff. Maybe I should get some. You know, and then you look for the frozen berries. It's like this big, and they charging you 10 times what they charging for the ice cream. The marketing, the propaganda. You see how they trap you with that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can just spend $1, $2 and get some ice cream, but that $1, $2 won't give me the frozen berries. I need $6 or $10 to get the frozen berries. Hence the smoothies. Think about the smoothies. They up to like $10 a cup now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's like a regular price, right?
Right.
Oh, buy this smoothie for $10. $10. But you can go to the $1.25 store and get your some ice cream. You see how that works?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, a lot of people going to fall for that trap, that the ice cream trap. It's only $1.25. How can you not? You got children, okay? Yeah, I know you want your children to eat well, but those berries cost $10 a cup. That's $50 out your budget. That's your whole monthly budget. You gotta buy shoes, you gotta buy underwears, you gotta buy jogging suits, you gotta buy all this type of stuff. And see, and if you don't mind me going on this tangent real quick,
Go ahead.
this is a personal thing that I just had to recently explain to somebody in my family. You as a single person, you don't realize what goes on. You think you know, but you don't know what it is to be a parent of multiple children. You don't know what it is to go every time you go to a restaurant or the grocery store or wherever. You don't know what it's like to have to do the math based on 5 people or more, or sometimes less. You don't know what that's like. So of course you can say things like, "Oh yeah, I went out to this restaurant, or I'm gonna go to this restaurant, but I'm broke. I need some cash." To a person like me, you rich. You spending plenty of cash. You
Mm-hmm.
spend more on you going out to eat than I spend on my clothes. And you do that too. You
Right.
go out and buy clothes too. You get what I'm saying? Like a single person is just would never get that. They don't, and they shouldn't. They don't have to. They don't have the responsibilities. But I'm just saying it's the psychological trip that you have to remind them, yo, I'm not, I can't go to dinner or make it to go out to eat with you. I can't afford it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
what do you mean? It's only this much money a kid. I have things I have to do with my money. I don't have the money you have at your leisure, right? And
Right.
you have to. This is a constant thing. I think this is a huge problem. To some people, it's a problem. Some people, it's an issue. Some people, it's just a thing. I think it's huge because as this phrase going, keeping up with the Joneses. A lot of people do this, and they do it unconsciously, right? They want to be able to front, or even if they ain't even thinking about it, they think about it in the back of their mind. They want to be able to go out and have these times with these people, like they doing so well or whatever. But in actuality, they know they don't have it. They don't have it. You get what I'm saying? They don't have it. I found myself paying for a meal or two just because I didn't want to go through I left my money at home,
Mm.
or let's go. Oh man, I want this, you know, and we go to the place, and it's like, just the slowness of the person acting like they was going to pay. And you know what I learned from that?
Just avoid the
Just,
situation.
just avoid the whole situation. Oh man, I want this. I hear you, me too. And keep on going. Like, where you want me to drop you off or whatever. Cause you don't have it. You know what I mean? You don't
Mm-hmm.
have it. And you put yourself in these positions. And once it's a good thing that sometimes it has to happen to you so you can really realize you don't have it, you know. But if you know you're that type of person, like you said, avoid it. Just avoid the whole situation. Just be straight up front. Yo, I wish I could too. I can't afford it. Well, let's nip that in the bud right away. So you can stop saying what you want or how we should do whatever. I don't have it. Period. And if you don't feel comfortable with somebody else buying it, be as honest about that too. They will say, "Oh, I got you." No, no, I don't want you to get me. I'm going to keep my schedule and I'm going to eat at home. I
Mm-hmm.
can drop you off or I can take you by to get whatever you need to get. But I'm good, you know, and you keep on this. Because I'm telling you, this is a big issue. And it's way bigger than people realize, I believe. It's way bigger than people realize because I just look at how overweight America has become, and I was thinking of all the ways, and I'm like, that is one of the ways. People just they're influenced by other people who might not be so overweight, right? And they're not intentionally, draining your pockets, not intentionally. They didn't set out to do this to you, but the type of person you are, you get in this situation. And like I said, if you pull up, you the type of person like, yo, when I pull up, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm not sitting here fumbling around looking for my money. I knew I was coming here. Like, why would
Mm-hmm.
I be doing that? So you sitting there and you like, yo, we here. You ain't got your money out. Like you didn't know you the one asked to come here. So now you be looking like this and look, I'll just pay for it. You see what I'm saying? If you that type of person, don't go in the first place. Just say no. I'm good on that one. Unless you want to get it, then that way you can sit there comfortably and let them fill around as long as they want to. Oh, I left my money at home. Oh, we gonna have. You want me to drop you off, or you want to go get it, or what's got to happen?
Right.
I don't. I told you I didn't have it before we came, so that's it's really. It's not being mean. It's being real. You got to be able to respect your budget. Well, first, you got to be able to respect your health. You got to be second. You got to be able to respect your budget because if you disrespect your budget, you disrespect your family. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, when you get to the end of the month or whatever your month might be, and you're short and you don't have the healthy foods that you would like to have, and you think about why, there it is. Oh man, I spent that money over there, so I don't have it to run to the store right now until I get paid again. You see how
Mm-hmm.
that works? And this is a huge thing, and I have no exception to the rule. That's why I'm talking from experience. You
Right.
see what I mean? Same thing with the credit. We can go down that rabbit hole on a whole different in a whole different conversation. We've been here long enough on this one with the health. I thank you for the great conversation.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate you. And I hope we gave some great value to anybody that might want to listen.
Right. And remember,
Love, peace, and healthy feast.
right. Closing notes. If they claim to cure cancer, just turn it off. Just turn it off. They're claiming to cure cancer. Yeah.
Okay, wait, what?
If
Why?
okay, if they claim you can slow down, stop the progression, or prevent cancer, that's a whole nother thing. If they say you do this and you're going to cure your cancer, first of all, that's a claim that can get you sued. Second of all, I don't, to me, that's usually a red flag when I've heard people speak
I
up.
don't know. I heard that. Now this is just hearsay. I didn't look at the paperwork or nothing, but I heard that Dr. Sebi had went to court and he had people that had cancer. They went to the screen. The officials screened who screened them and had the cancer, and they went through his treatment, and then he went back and they didn't have cancer.
I'm gonna have to look into that because I heard like completely different opposite
And don't
about
get me
Dr.
wrong, I'm
Sebi.
with you. I'm with you. For the majority of these claims, I don't know what happened either. I'm just saying that I heard that was, you know. So I'm not saying go with somebody who claims they can clear cancer. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Right.
But like you said, it's safer to go with the slow down the progression. And it's if somebody, you're right, because if they that blatantly saying that, there's something wrong. Because it's stages of cancer,
Right.
and they know that.
Mm-hmm.
So they out there just being reckless about it, talking about they can cure any cancer at any time and all this. Yeah, that's too reckless. But they didn't lock him up. He's supposed to went to court and beat the court case. So I don't know
I
how
thought
that
he
happened.
died in jail.
No, not in the U.S.
Oh,
jail. He
right.
went outside of the U.S. and they got him on. I don't know what happened there, but the when he went to court here twice, he was they had to let him go. He didn't. I don't know what. Like I said, I wasn't there. I don't know the
Right.
paperwork or
Right.
whatever. But I know a lot of people still trying to make a lot of money off his name and still
For
going that
sure.
route. Yeah, that stuff is crazy. That
Mm-hmm.
stuff is crazy. But it's so yeah. I agree. Now that I got a clarity on because the way you said it the first time, yeah. So yeah, I would definitely look into people's credibility and exactly what they saying though too. Like if they just being, oh, I'll cure your cancer no matter what kind of cancer it is. Yeah, that's highly suspect, right? Highly suspect, if not outright bogus.